What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Blizzard of 67, and this is the 2022 release. So they're calling this one a Citra, Mosaic, Dorado and Ekuanot-hopped Triple IPA that comes in at 10% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 3.5 weeks old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher for this beer. I will post in the description box a link to the beer mail video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with. And really happy they sent me this one. Why? This is actually the rare re-review here on the Beer Patrol, and that's because I reviewed this one back in March of 2020, so about 2 years ago, and the difference between that release and this one is that one was brewed with honey, and this one is not. So despite having the same hops and ABV and everything, I want to see what this one is like without the honey. Now, I did go back and look at my review, and basically, I really like that beer. I gave it a 4.3 out of 5, said it was delicious. The two knocks I had on it was the mouthfeel wasn't as great as most of Hop Butcher's mouthfeels when it comes to their bigger beers, their double IPAs and triple IPAs, and it was a bit boozy. Now, it's 10%, it's triple IPA, you might be saying you should expect the booze, but so many breweries hide the alcohol well that, you know, I was getting the alcohol and there was a little bit of a knock on the beer, but the beer was delicious. I gave it a 4.3 out of 5. And the honey was, I wouldn't say prominent, but it was noticeable. You get like honey drizzled fruits and whatnot. So I'm really excited about this one. I did not read the tasting notes. Now, the tasting notes for that one, I got a lot of tropical fruit, berries, pine, and it had like a mild bitterness. That's what I posted on tap. So I rarely go back and look at my old reviews and see what I said about the beer. So this is going to be one of those times where, like, I kind of know what to expect going in based on, you know, the review from 2 years ago. But, you know, this is a new batch and everything. Batch variation is real. So let's give it a pour here. Has like a dark honey orange color pouring out. I already see. We'll go like that. It's a triple. Not trying to go crazy. I love the artwork from Dan Jetsa. Fantastic. And I mentioned that in that review. A Blizzard 67, huge blizzard in the Chicago area. The one that everyone remembers around here in Western New York and Buffalo, New York, is the Blizzard of 77. I imagine in most places where it snows, everybody will have a tale of a certain year that, you know, there's a huge blizzard that everyone remembers. Anyway, that has a really deep, dark honey orange color, very murky, turbid. Kind of looks like the one from 2020, albeit maybe a bit darker. Has about a finger, just over a finger of this off-white, really creamy looking head. Looks fantastic. Let's get a nose. Yeah, the berries, man. I'm getting blueberry, raspberry, but then I'm also getting a big blast of pineapple, peach, over-ripened peach. A little bit of like a lemon lime thing going on. There's a ton of tropical and stone fruit notes. I'm not getting a lot of citrus, and I don't remember getting, again, I went back and looked at the review, but that was maybe like a week ago. When they sent this beer, like just after they sent it. I just remember saying tropical fruits and berries, and that's pretty much what I'm getting here. So a little bit of like a resinous pine, like a resinous earthy tone. There's a little bit of alcohol now, a touch of it. As I swirl it up, I'm getting a little bit of like an ethanol kind of thing. It's not big, but it's definitely, as I swirl, it's there. Yeah, it smells sweet. It smells fruity. A little bit of that pine resin, earthy resin tone. Touch of alcohol. Not much more to say about it. It smells really fucking good for a triple IPA, honestly. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Hop Butcher. Really nice. Really nice. Hang on. Let me go back in for another sip before I start saying shit that I don't mean, or that's incorrect, because I go back for a second sip and I'm like, oh, hang on, just hang on. My memory isn't great. I'm old. I'm 41. And I don't remember a lot of things. That's why I have to go back and look at the reviews, right, of something that I re-review. I gave this beer a 4.3, and I definitely got a honey character. Again, wasn't a predominant note, but it was noticeable. And I'm taking 2 sips. I'm feeling the lack of the honey in this one. I think the honey did produce something that I really liked in that version. Not to say this is bad at all. This is still really fucking good. but I think it's lacking the honey. Does it make up for it in other areas? Let's dive in. Body on this one's like lower side of full. It's not thin for 10%. Yeah, it's like lower side of full body. It definitely has a heftiness behind it. It's not super thin or anything. And I think the other one was a bit thin. The mouthfeel is definitely better than the old school one. Like I said, again, this isn't a top tier mouthfeel from Hop Butcher, but it's still really fucking nice. Also take into account that when I had this beer, it was like one of the first handful of beers. I think it was in either the first or second box I got from them. And at that point, I maybe have had like 10 or 12 beers. Now I'm like approaching 100 beers, unique beers from Hop Butcher. So that was like the first 10% of the beers I've had from them, say. And now, knowing what they're capable of mouthfeels, I still stick by that probably mouthfeel wasn't as amazing as a lot of their beers. This one, really fucking nice. It's soft, it's smooth, slightly creamy. Has a nice carbonation there, like a moderate carbonation. It's, again, not an upper echelon mouthfeel from Hop Butcher, but really damn nice. The taste, it's really, again, this beer's really good. Because it's 10%, you get a lot of like sweeter, fruity notes. Again, the sweetness is being provided by that malt, but the actual characters isn't a malt bomb. It's just enhancing the fruity characteristics. So a ton of sweet berry on this one. I'm getting sweet, like blueberry and raspberry, like pitcher overripened, not tart blueberries, just really sweeter blueberries, almost like blueberries you throw in and raspberries you throw in like a fruit smoothie or something. It has a sweetness to it. Right after that, there's pineapple. There's mango, there's peach. Again, sweeter fruits. Halfway through the palate, oh, hang on, just got like a honeydew melon on that last taste. Very complex tropical fruit nose and stone fruit nose. Again, with those overripened sweet berries. Halfway through, though, this is where they're the hero of the beer. To shout out a good friend of mine, a fellow beer tuber, Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews. He likes to call certain characteristics in beers the hero that kind of saves the beer in some way. And I think the hero of this beer is on the back of the palate. I am getting hit with this nice resinous hop tone. There's an earthiness, there's a pine resin, and it bumped. I said this on tap. I said this had a mild bitterness. This is mild to moderate, this release anyway. It's not overly bitter, but it definitely balances up and breaks up the monotony of all that sweetness. This is mild to moderate, right in between, maybe leaning a little bit more towards moderate bitterness. Slightly dry. This has a residual sweetness that you expect from a 10% Triple IPA, but it's not cloying. It's not too sweet. I will say that I probably could only drink one of these. Why? The ABV, but also I think that it is a sweet beer because it's a Triple IPA, but it's not too sweet. So I think at the end of the can, I would be like, okay, I'm done with that and I'm moving on. Now, the honey, the lack of honey in this one, where I said that, I'm noticing it is that I was getting like honey drizzled, like mango, honeydew melon, different fruits, and I'm not getting that here. And I think it would work well in this beer, honestly. I think it would be a nice nuance to this beer that props it up a little bit. Then again, I like the mouthfeel more in this one, and I think there's a little bit more bitterness. So I think what it lost in the honey character makes up for in that mild to moderate bitterness and the mouthfeel. I think the mouthfeel is better. I'm not necessarily saying it's because the honey is omitted here. I'm just saying that the beer itself this time around, this batch, I'm enjoying just as much as that batch in a different way. I do miss that honey character, but I don't care as much because the mouthfeel is really nice and I like that approaching moderate bitterness. I drink quite a bit of this. I'm feeling it in the chest, on the palate, none whatsoever, but definitely feel it's a bigger beer in the chest and the body being like a lower side of full body. You definitely can tell this is a bigger, if I'm doing a blind, I would guess 9 to 10%, somewhere in that range. I don't know if I'd guess necessarily 10. I don't know if I'd say Triple IPA, but it's damn close. So I think I actually like this slightly more than the 2020 release. So I'm going to give Blizzard of 67, the 2022 release, no honey in this one, from Hop Butcher. I'm going to give that a solid high 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.35. I gave that version in 2020 a 4.3. Bump it up 0.05 to 4.35. Almost gets in the low 4.5 range. This is a really good triple. Again, the booze is well hidden. It's really nice. The only knock on this one to me would be that, like most triples, by the end of it, it will be too sweet. Not because I think this is a beer that's imbalanced. I just think it's 10% beer. You're at the end of it, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm done. It's too much of a sweetness, but also just too much of everything in general. And that's how most triples are. I'm not gonna sit here and session triples. Some people will. Paul over at PA Brew News, I'm looking at you, buddy. You definitely would session this, not me. So tasting notes. We have lush tropical for sure. They could say lush stone fruits, lush tropical, whatever. There's a lot of tropical and stone fruits in this one, from pineapple to peach to mango to honeydew melon. Lots of stuff going on in terms of tropical and stone fruits, and I would say they're very lush. Next, light resin. I'd say a little bit more than light resin. I would say like a moderate resin, and I'm getting both earthy and like pine, like resinous pine. Like it's definitely there, but resin for sure. And last, ripe berry all fucking day long. Ripe berry, yeah. I would say overripe berry, overripened berry. Tons of that at the front of the palate, and yeah, it's fucking great. This is really tasty. Really good triple IPA. Yeah. 4.35 out of 5. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Post in the comment section. The price point availability, I believe, in Chicagoland, these are $18.99, so $19 a 4-pack, all day, every day for something that's 10% and this good. If this gets distro, you're probably looking, I'm trying to think, like, their double IPAs and regular IPAs are like $15 to $16 a 4-pack. So, and those show up here, they're $18 to $20. So this would probably be like $22 to $24 a 4-pack. If it got hit distro, I would still grab this one for that price point. For a 4.35 out of 5 and what Hop Butcher produces, this is really good. And availability, it's Hop Butcher. And what that means nowadays is I fucking don't know, because so many people are getting distro of Hop Butcher. They're just like, oh yeah, Hop Butcher just randomly showed up in my area. So I have no idea. I know you can get them if you live in Chicago. I know you can get them on craftshack.com. And I know that their distro is getting much better. Here in the Western New York area, we've gotten a handful of drops over the last 3 to 4 months. And I think that's probably going to continue. Who knows? Maybe not, but I have nothing more to say. So if you've had this one before, again, post in the comment section. Let me know. Here's another thing too. If you had the 2020 version or a prior release, again, I don't know if their last release of this, I feel like they release this probably every like March. Again, in the winter, blizzard makes sense. I would say if you had one of the prior versions and it had honey in it, and you then had this one, how do the two compare to you? To me, I think I like this slightly more, obviously, but I would have loved to see this year's batch with honey to see maybe this batch just is better. So what did you think about it? Again, I like this slightly more than the 2020 version. I don't know if that would have been the same if there's honey in here. Maybe I like it even more. Maybe it's in the same vein. I have no idea. So post in the comment section if you've had both. What do you prefer? I think I slightly prefer this one. I think because of the sweetness in a triple IPA, the honey just adds a little bit more, and I'm probably good with that, honestly. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Anyway, thanks again to Hop Butcher for this beer. Really tasty. Thanks everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.